Okay guys, our lesson today is to be able to find the volume of a pyramid. And when we find the volume of a pyramid, we use the following formula. Alright, it says that volume is going to be 1/3 the base area times the height. Now, why do we use 1/3 the base area times the height? Because if we had a rectangular prism, right, if we kind of sketched in a rectangular prism here, that pyramid with the same base as the prism, if you filled that pyramid with rice or filled that pyramid with water, it would take 3 of those pyramids to fill the prism. And because it takes that relationship of 3 pyramids to fill the prism with the same base, the volume of the pyramid is 1/3 of the volume of the prism. Okay? So, the problems, right? Pretty simple. Right? Let's start with our first example. Start with our formula. So we want to write volume is going to be equal to 1/3 the base area, capital B, times the height. Now that height is the height of the prism from the center to the vertex. All right, so it's not a, it's, let me go back here. All right, that height of the prism is this height here. Right, it is the height from the center to the tip. So volume's going to be equal to 1/3. Well, what's the base area? Well, here we're given the base area. The base area is 48. So the base area, capital B, is going to be 48. The height's going to be 9. So when we multiply 1/3 times 48 times 9, now if you have a calculator and you can't multiply by 1/3, you would just take 48 and divide it by 3 and then multiply by 9. Or you can multiply 48 times 9 and then divide by 3. Multiplying by 1/3 is the same as dividing by 3, and we get 144 cubic millimeters for the volume of that pyramid. Okay? A couple of other examples. Volume's going to be equal to the base area times the height. But our base area here is in the form of a rectangle. Alright, my rectangle is going to be 3 times 4. So my base area is going to be 3 times 4. And then my height is going to be 7. Alright, but remember, volume is 1/3 base area times the height. I almost forgot my 1/3. So the volume is going to be equal to 1/3 times 3 times 4 times 7. That's going to be 28 cubic feet. All right. There's a little message over here that says that the area of the base of a rectangular pyramid is the product of the length and the width. So you can use the volume is 1/3 length times width times height to find the volume of a rectangular pyramid. All right. Let's look at a triangular pyramid. Volume is still going to be 1/3 base area times the height. So volume is going to be 1/3, but what's that base area? Well, the base area is a triangle, and the triangle, we have to find the base and the height of that triangle, right? So we look for that right angle symbol. So to find the base area, right, got to be careful. Base area is going to be 1/2 of 17.5 times the 6, and then we have to multiply that by the height of 10, right? The base area here, let me highlight that in blue. The base area here, because it's a triangle, triangle is 1/2 base times height. The base and the height of the triangle, 1/3 of that times 10. Volume is going to be equal to 175 cubic meters. Now I would say, guys, with your calculators, your Chromebooks, make sure that you guys can punch these numbers into a calculator or your phone or your Chromebook and make sure that you get that answer, right? 175 cubic meters. Okay? Let's try a few more. All right? Always start with our formula. Volume's going to be 1/3 the base area times the height. Right? Volume is going to be 1/3. But what is that base area? Well, we're told what the base area is. We're told that the base area here is 21, so we're just multiplying that by the height. So the volume is going to be equal to 1/3 of 21 times 6. That's going to be 42 cubic feet. All right, next one. Base is a square. Still write our formula. 1/3 base area times the height. But that base area here is a rectangle this time, right? That's 10 by 8. So that base area is going to be the 10 times the 8 because the base area is a rectangle. But then we got to multiply by the height of the pyramid. Height of the pyramid is 7. So the volume is going to be 1/3 times 10 times 8 times 7, or because it's a rectangular pyramid, it's 1/3 length times width times height. So that's going to be 186.7, right? And those are cubic inches. All right, problem 3. Start with our formula. 1/3 base area times the height. But the base area here is a triangle, and the triangle base area is 1/2 base of the triangle times the height of the triangle, right? We got to find that right angle symbol to identify the base and the height of the triangle. So that's going to be 7 times 18, but then we multiply by the height of the pyramid. That's going to be 11. So when we multiply 1/3 times 1/2 times 7 times 18 times 11, that's going to be 231 cubic centimeters. 231 cubic centimeters. Okay? Let's try a few more examples. All right? Oops. Okay, let's try. Write our formula. 1/3 base area times the height. Volume is going to be 1/3. Your base area here is a rectangle. Length times width. That's going to be 6 times 4. Times the height of the pyramid. That's going to be 6. When we multiply 1/3 times 6 times 4 times 6, we get 48 cubic feet. All right. This next one. Volume is going to be 1/3. Base area times the height. But what's the base area here? It's a triangle. Have to find the right angle symbol of that triangle. Right? 1/2 the base area times the height. That's going to be 9 times 8. 1/2 the base times the height. Lost my page there. Computer's jumping around. And then we need the height of the pyramid, which is going to be 10. So we're multiplying 1/3 times 1/2 times 9 times 8 times 10. And that's going to be 120 cubic yards. All right, couple more. All right. Volume's going to be 1/3 base area times the height. We're given the base area this time, right? We're giving capital B. That's going to be 60. The height's going to be 12. So the volume's going to be 1/3 of 60 times 12. And that's going to be, what's that going to be? 240. Or, actually, let's erase that. Right? Because the volume's going to be 240. 1/3, 60 times 12. 240 cubic millimeters. All right, last one. Volume's going to be 1/3 base area times height. My base area this time, what do we have? We got a what's that, a hexagon? Looks like it, but the base area is 12. The height is going to be 15, so 1/3 12 times 15, right? That's going to be 60 cubic meters. Okay. Now we want to be able to find the volume of composite solids. And when we find the volume of composite solids, we have to find the volume of each of the figures that make up that solid. All right. Now we're missing a measurement here, but we need to know that that measurement is also 40 feet. All right. So, that should have been already listed in the picture. So let's call this, let's see, call this, I don't know, let's write the formula. Now let's start with the 1/3 base area times height. We'll do that. 1/3 capital B times H. But then we have to add the volume of, let me slow down a bit. All right, the black, or the 1/3 base area times height, that's our pyramid. But in blue down here, we have to find, right, the area of the, or I'm sorry, the volume of that prism. And that prism is a rectangular prism, so that's going to be length times width times height. So the volume is going to be 1/3. My base area is going to be 40 by 40 times the height, which is going to be 20. Then we want to add to that, I'll do that in blue, that's going to be 40 by 40 by 40. So we're finding the volume of each of the two figures, and we're going to add those two volumes together. Okay? Let me slide this over a bit, give that more room, slide that, slide that. Okay. So volume is going to be equal to 1/3 times 40 times 40 times 20. It's going to be 10,666.7 plus 40 times 40 times 40. That's going to be 64,000. So the volume is going to be equal to, when we add that together, 74,666.7. Right, and those are going to be cubic feet. Okay? Let's try that again, right? A similar type of problem. All right? So we're going to start with the pyramid. So that's going to be 1/3 base area times the height. But then we have to add to that the rectangular prism, which is going to be length times width times height. Volume is going to be 1/3. Well, what's the base area? The base area of my prism is in the form of that red rectangle, which is going to be, let's see, 6 by 6. So 6 times 6 is the base area times the height, right? Well, the height of the pyramid is going to be 8. Then we want to add to that, do this in blue, right? The length, meant to be blue here, right? The length times the width times the height. So that's going to be 6 times 6 times 4. So we want to put all that together. Volume is going to be equal to, it's going to be 1/3 of 6 times 6 times 8. It's 96 plus 6 times 6 times 4. It's 144. So we get a total volume of 240 cubic meters. All right? Okay. Well, I hope that that's been helpful. And just remember that if we're finding the volume of a composite solid, we find the volume of each one of the pieces. We want to add them together. And when we find the volume of pyramids, it's simply 1/3 of that base area times the height. Okay, we'll see you soon.